The cavalry has arrived as Ryan Kelly's teammate from Indy is joining him in the Twin Cities with a massive signing that will please all fans, but no one more than quarterback J.J. McCarthy, who is quickly getting the best possible pieces around him as he gears up for his first season as a starter. We're going to be breaking down all of that in this episode of Vikings Digest, but first make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers right now, so if you're part of the percent that isn't subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon because we're going to be bringing you guys a lot of updates over the next few days. And with that, let's hop into the first topic of the day, which is we'll take fries with that. And that is this announcement coming from Jeremy Fowler as well as Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero that guard Will Fries from the Indianapolis Colts is heading to the Vikings for 5 years, $88 million, sources told ESPN. One of the top interior linemen on the market is now off the board. And he is going to be joining his teammate Ryan Kelly from Indianapolis. So these guys are going to be staying together. When we posted the video yesterday about the Ryan Kelly signing, there were so many people in the comments saying, now we got to go out and get his teammate. And we were advocating for that for sure. We were advocating for that a few weeks ago even, without even thinking of Ryan Kelly coming to Minnesota, just going after Will Fries because they would have the space to go get him, and they needed a guard like that. And they went out and got him. They paid a little bit more than the market value as they got him for $17.6 million per year when the market value was $14.1. However, when we just got Ryan Kelly on the deal that we got him at, we got Aaron Jones at a little bit of an overpay. However, with a guy like this, he's only 26 years. He's just at the end of his rookie contract. So this is really his first big NFL contract that he's gotten. And now he's going to be locked into Minnesota for a few years. They have him locked up for quite some time. And now we have our offensive line set for at least the time being, or a few seasons at least, where we have Christian Darrisaw, Will Fries, Ryan Kelly, Dalton Reisner, and Brian O'Neill. This offensive line is suddenly looking very scary. I know Will Fries and Christian Darrisaw, they're coming off of season-ending injuries. That is still a very big question mark, as we see there with the questionable calls there. I know we're not going to be in any game experiences or situations where they need these injury designations, but it's still useful to know them. But take away those and just assume that this is a fully healthy offensive line. This is something that teams should be scared of, because the only weak link there is not an entirely weak link either, is Dalton Reisner, where you have Christian Darrisaw. The Vikings went out and drafted him. They made sure that he is their guy. Will Fries, Ryan Kelly, we just went out and got them to prove that we need to bolster this down, because before they came in here, we only had Darrisaw and O'Neill on the edges, really. That's all we had at tackle. We didn't have a reliable two guards and then a really great center. I know Garrett Bradbury is there as well, but still, Ryan Kelly is a very big upgrade, a veteran presence as well. So now we have veterans like Brian O'Neill, like Christian Darrisaw, like Ryan Kelly. We have a young guy like Will Fries. And now J.J. McCarthy is being given the keys to the car, saying, hey, we trust you. You are the future of this team. This is exactly what Vikings fans have been wanting since the end of the season. Even when we were watching that Detroit game, the broadcast was showing J.J. McCarthy as if the Vikings had already finished their season and they were planning for next year, because the wheels are starting to fall off with Sam Darnold, and just because everyone knows how the Vikings play football in the playoffs. It's what it is. Hopefully this is a sign that the times are going to be changing, and this goes to show Minnesota, hey, we had a good run with Sam Darnold. We let him walk. Now we're investing in the future with J.J. McCarthy. And what did Kwesi say they needed to go out and get as a result of that? They needed an offensive lineman. They went and got two of them. They needed a deep interior pass rusher. We went and got two of them. And not only that, we went and got four players like that, and they are absolute dogs. You have so many. You have Hargrave, and then you got Jonathan Allen on the defensive side. Absolute dogs inside. Then you bring Fries and as well as Ryan Kelly over here to Minnesota. Also, offensive dogs. A lot of people know that football is a game that's won between the trenches. It's always a battle of whose line is better, whose offensive line and whose defensive line is better, and how are they going to clash, and how are you going to fight for every single yard. Minnesota, you guys know, we've been talking about it all year. Our offensive line has been Swiss cheese for the greater part of the past decade, probably, maybe even longer. It's been a long time since Minnesota has had a formidable offensive line. And when we go on these playoff runs where we get there, we get to the dance, but we don't have the pieces to go to the extra distance and get to the final goal, which is the Super Bowl, because we run into teams that are ultimately more outmatched with, because we come across a team like Philly, where they have an insane defensive line and a scary offensive line. They're a juggernaut. Then you play against a team like San Fran, where we were able to get pressure on Brock Purdy last season, but they still have a really solid offensive line. Then you go to a team like Detroit. They have an amazing offensive line they've invested so much money in, and they are a team that, as much as you guys are going to hate me to say it, Detroit is a lot like Minnesota in the sense of offensive line, where Detroit, they've had so many troubles over the past decades alone. Even just in the past decade, really. In the past 5 years, they've done everything it takes to make sure they can fortify that. Using early draft picks on offensive linemen, pissing off fans, but they were still able to make it work in the long run because they have one of the best offensive lines in football. So that's a team that we also get outmatched with, as much as I hate to say it. That's a team that we get outmatched with because their offensive line is too strong for our pass rush. Now, we went out there, we fortified our defensive line, we fortified our offensive line. There's so many things that Minnesota has had the availability to do this offseason, where this feels like the most free that Minnesota has had in an offseason in a long time. Definitely under Kwesi's entire tenure, because we don't have a massive quarterback contract looming over our heads like a dark cloud that's going to form into a tornado and just suck up everything in its path. We had that with Kirk Cousins. So when Sam Darnold was a cloud that was floating over Minnesota, we said, let's blow that cloud away. We got J.J. McCarthy. We can weather this storm, and we're going to make it through, because now we have so much more money to work with, and we've seen how that money's paid off. You guys were wanting Kwesi to get cooking. He has been cooking. He's not worried about his own contract extension, because with all the moves that he's making this offseason, it's going to warrant that itself. He's not going to have to demand anything. All of it's just going to pay off in the returns for that. And I don't think he's worried about the amount of money he's going to get paid for it, because this is a guy who left Wall Street making a bunch of money to make less money working with the San Francisco 49ers and the Cleveland Browns. So he left a great opportunity like that to make less money, but because he loved football, because he wanted to make an impact, and he's done nothing short of that with Minnesota. A lot of people know that his draft picks haven't always worked out the best. J.J. McCarthy has a chance to prove to be that absolute outlier, but now with Kwesi doing all these free agency moves, you guys wanted him to cook? He's been cooking. He's been busy, and it hasn't even gotten to the official opening of free agency. I know the Hargrave deal is going to become official tomorrow, but there's still some other guys too that Minnesota can go out and get that are restricted free agents today, but they will be available tomorrow, and Minnesota will have a chance to jump on them as well. But what do you guys think about this signing? How excited are you for how it'll look for our offense? And who do you guys want to see Minnesota go after tomorrow on Wednesday for the opening of the RFA free agent market? Let us know down in the comments below who you guys want to see the Vikings go after. I know there's a few guys on the list that I was texting with Kirk on. Fortunately, a lot of the guys that, when looking at the list that Greg Rosenthal had of the best available free agents still on the board, I texted Kirk my picks on that list, and we went out and got 3 of them. We secured them, and it was awesome. It was at the time just before Byron Murphy got signed last night. I texted him. I said, Byron Murphy, would love to have him. Jonathan Allen, even though I said that was basically a done deal. And then I said Will Fries, and then Javon Hargrave was one that we were kind of spitballing about, but that wasn't the big one. Javon Holland was really the one that I was really wanting out of those ones. But still, we went and got 3 of the guys that we were talking about. It's amazing that Minnesota is able to do this, and that these players that we were reporting on and watching for so many weeks, I'm so happy that it finally paid off with all that reporting and all the speculation that, okay, these guys, Minnesota's linked to them. Are they coming? Are they not? We don't know. We're not going to know until Monday. We're not going to know until Tuesday. And now we finally are here. And I'm so happy that we're on here talking about these guys signing with Minnesota rather than us missing the boat on them. But what do you guys think of free agency so far? What do you think about what Kwesi's been doing? And how excited are you for the NFL draft with what we have left to work with going into the draft? Let us know down in the comments down below. We're going to be coming at you guys with another free agency update probably later on tonight. So stay tuned for that and hit that bell icon so you don't miss that update. But with that, I've been your host, Griffin. Take care.